Let's do 2 because butter.
Good morning, beautiful people. Another beautiful day out here. The weather is can't make up its mind if it's January or May. I think today's supposed to be 60. That's really warm. And as you can see, there's still snow on the ground. Like, this is the longest we've ever seen the snow stick around where we're at. I'm really surprised. It kind of tells you what kind of microclimate we have down here in the bottoms. This is the very lowest point in the property. This is where all the water is. And apparently that's where the snow hangs out. When it's summertime and it's, 90 some odd degrees and hot and humid, that is the place to be because it'll be 10 degrees cooler than everywhere else. It's awesome. All right, so now that we have processed pigs and done all the things that we need to do, I can get back to the projects that I was working on. I was working on some ram pens, as you guys might know, our regulars that come with us. I've got that set is ready. I just have to, we had to kind of move it out of the way so we could let Hand Hewn get their car up here and unload some stuff. So we just kind of moved everything out of the way. Those ones are ready, I just have to paint them. And then these ones I have to put on all the wheel brackets. I have since gotten all the wheels. They actually showed up, I think the first day we were doing the class. So I'm gonna get these finished. I'm gonna get working on them. Can you guys, Tyler, are you in there? Can you give me a hand? I'll need everybody and some vice grips so we can set up the pen I gotta work on. All right, trying to remember where I was 2.5 weeks ago when I set this project down. I had made all of my brackets. I have to go in and trim the cattle panel where the brackets need to get welded to the frame. It's just getting out here and doing it. The brackets are already made, so there is that. Theoretically, I'll be on to painting these today, which would be excellent, but I'm not gonna hold my breath because things change and situations change. I'm sure I'll get into this. I'll get either the tunes going or something, and then it's gonna be like, hey, we have to go run somewhere and do something. There goes all that momentum. So I'm gonna try to get to work, drag the welder out here, and see what I can accomplish today.
All right, well, Ben is out there doing what Ben does best. I'm gonna be making some bread today. Every time I make bread, people are like, please, please, please tell me your recipe and show me how to make bread. I don't follow a recipe, but I have a basic method for what I do. I guess bread I do kind of have a recipe a little bit because I do like actually scoop stuff out. But I'm going to be making sandwich bread today. I'm also going to make rolls for dinner, and I'm going to make some cinnamon bread. So I'm going to show you guys how I do all 3 of those out of one recipe. It's not one batch. I make 3 different batches, but it's one single recipe. It's super easy. This is my go-to recipe for absolutely all the bread I make, with exceptions of a few things. Sometimes I'll add some, egg or butter, or maybe a little extra sugar or something if I'm making something special. But for the most part, this is my everyday bread recipe. So I'm gonna get started because it's like 2:30, and if I don't start now, we're not gonna have bread for dinner. Okay, Ben's got the big camera and I cannot find the tripod for this one, so hopefully this works out well. All right, I get my yeast. This is active dry yeast. I get it in bulk. This is not the jar it comes in. That's an old honey jar. I get it in bulk from Azure Standard, and I usually buy like 5 pounds at a time. I keep it in the freezer for everything I'm not using currently. This I keep in the fridge. So this is like my everyday jar. Put it in the fridge. The rest of it goes in the freezer. Are you here to help me?
Yeah.
Be my tripod?
Yeah.
You're awesome. All right, cool. Super convenient to have children. 2 tablespoons, levelish, of yeast goes in there. And then I get warm water from the tap. Warm but not hot, like a little over body temperature probably. 2 cups of water. Okay, and then honey. don't measure this, I just do a big scoop. It's probably about a tablespoon.
What are you making?
Bread. Stir that until basically the honey comes off the spoon. Okay, that's gonna sit until it bubbles. That way I know I didn't like burn the heck out of my yeast and it's dead. And it just kind of gets it activated. For those of you who do make bread or are familiar with it, yes, that's a lot of yeast. It's 2 tablespoons. It's for what's gonna wind up being about 2 loaves of bread. But I do the 2 tablespoons because it makes it rise faster. And when you're really busy and you want bread like today, this is what I do. So 2 tablespoons, it'll make it rise a bit faster. If you want a longer, slower rise, then just put less yeast. You could probably do like a tablespoon and that would be fine. I lost my tripod, he went out to play. Okay, this is bubbly now. That took like 3, maybe 5 minutes, but you can kind of see how it's just, there's honey down there at the bottom. You kind of see, I'm trying to slosh the water back out so you can see, but it's like a film of bubbly goodness and it smells very yeasty and nice. Now I'm adding olive oil, maybe a tablespoon or 2. Again, I don't measure. I just go, hey, yeah, that looks good. And then salt. This I do measure. A tablespoon for 2 loaves worth is good. So, tablespoon of salt. Alright, and then flour. Today it's all-purpose flour. I'm out of whole wheat. Sometimes I do whole wheat. When I do whole wheat, it's like half the whole recipe. So it'll be, this is going to be 6 cups of flour total. So it would be 3 cups, you can't see me very well, 3 cups of whole wheat and 3 cups of all-purpose for like a nicely whole wheat loaf. If you like it more whole wheaty, you could do more. If you like it less, you could do less. But one thing to consider when you do more whole wheat, you might need a little bit more water because it absorbs more. So this is all purpose, and it's gonna be 6 cups. 5 and a half. 5 and a half. For everybody who's screaming at me that I didn't like weigh it or properly measure it, I just kind of like scooped it up and ran my finger across it to level it out. That's how I do it, and it makes bread and everybody likes it, so whatever. All right, I said 5 and a half instead of 6 because I have noticed, and maybe it's just being out here, but 5 and a half seems to work better. I used to do 6 all the time, and it does make a stiffer dough, and that's fine, but we've kind of just liked a little bit softer dough. So I did 5 and a half, and you can totally do this in a bowl with a spoon. You just have to have really awesome muscles. And I like my KitchenAid because it goes faster. I put it on low and let it do its thing. I'm looking for, I'll show you in a minute once it gets there. I'm looking for a dough that's soft but is not sticking to the sides at all. Has absorbed all the flour and isn't too sticky and just looks like a nice soft dough. So like I said, I'll show you in a minute, but you can see right now this is what they would call shaggy, and it's gonna keep combining. I don't want this. I want it to combine more than that, and this does most of the kneading for me so that I don't have to do it on the counter, even though I do like to get my hands in dough sometimes. Today is not the day. Alright, I stopped it so you could see. Here is the dough all combined. This is all the flour and all the water combined. It's pulled off the sides. It's all stuck together in one big clump, but it's still very lumpy. You can tell that there's like, it's not smoothly kneaded. There's like little bits of flour still in there. It's still very lumpy and it's still pretty sticky. Not too bad, but it's a little sticky. So I am now gonna let this just knead on its own. I'm gonna walk away and do something else for 5 to 10 minutes. It's really just like however long it takes me to do whatever else I'm doing. So this is gonna knead, and as it kneads, all these little lumps are gonna get worked in and smoothed out, and it's gonna be a very smooth dough. So we will come back to this in a little bit after I am done doing whatever it is I'm doing. Probably dishes. It's been about 5 minutes, and this is a lot smoother, a lot softer. It has, you can see it's soaked up a lot of the moisture. It's not sticking in my hands anymore. So I'm going to pull this out and put it on the counter to rest while I get the dough ready for the next one. Alright, second batch, gonna do pretty much the same thing, but in this one I'm going to do butter instead of oil. I'm not gonna melt it or do anything fancy. I'm just gonna like throw it in there with the yeast so it kind of softens up. It's sitting on my counter, so it's soft anyways. And that will be for the dinner rolls. So a slightly different taste, a little creamier, a little softer, a little more rich. But it's, other than that, it's the exact same recipe. Because butter. What are you doing? There you are. Hi, buddy. What are you doing? Alrighty, I got all 3 of these mixed up, and then I had to take care of the baby for a minute. So these are all sitting, resting. I don't do the double rise like you might see in some recipes where they say you mix it and then you rise for an hour and then you shape it and then you rise for another hour or until doubled. No, I don't do that, and I've not seen really any negative that came from not doing that. So what I do is let them just rest. I just plop them on the counter and let them rest for a few minutes just to relax and let the gluten kind of just chill out so it's not too springy and I'm not fighting the gluten while I'm trying to shape my loaves. So I have these all ready to go. I think what I'm going to do is get the rolls shaped and ready to go so they can start rising while I get the others shaped. I do have to get a chicken in the oven here pretty quick, and that's going to take up space in my oven that I won't have for the bread. So it's going to be a little juggling act, but we'll figure it out. You may punch it. Go ahead. Feel better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Always wanted to do that.
Makes 2 loaves. So I'm gonna cut this in half, really, and then I very, very rustically shape this into a bread loaf. So fold up, kind of fold it on itself, and then do a greased pan. Alright, raisin bread is very, very similar to regular bread. It just has some raisins and cinnamon in it. Alright, so I flattened this out a little bit more. I'll flip it over so the smooth side's going to be on the outside. Alright. Do cinnamon. A goodly amount. Sometimes I'll do brown sugar. Today, I don't think I will. Sometimes I'll do butter. Raisins? You have some raisins. And then I do like a big handful because I like a lot of raisins in my raisin bread.
I like raisiny bread to go with tea.
Yes. I kind of like fold it. Alright, so that was probably like 3 folds, and then I'm going to kind of smash it out a little bit. And then go this way. And then kind of just roll it into a big fat log. Really fat.
Very fat.
And just kind of roll it over on itself until, you know, it looks good. And then that also goes into a greased pan.
Butter greased pan.
And then same for the other one. Big handful. Trifold. Over on itself. Okay, these are going to rise for about an hour until doubled. These are slightly smaller pans than these ones. I think these are actually 1.5 pound pans, and these are like little cake pans. But we'll just wait until those are large enough till they rise nicely, a little mound over the edge, or until I actually have room in my oven, which is what happens a lot, and they wind up over rising, but it's fine, they'll still taste fine.
This one is complete. That makes 2 complete. Well, I mean, complete. There's actually stuff I have to do after we get there. Like, I'm gonna get the thing as painted as I can get it, but I actually weld the panels together just for stability, and then I'll weld a corner piece in each corner. There's a lot of stuff I have to do on site. So that means, you know, not only am I hauling this, but I'm hauling half a shop worth of welding tools way out to Jess and Jeremiah's place. But I'm very happy. As you notice, it's a heck of a lot darker than it was when that last time lapse ended. Yeah, I was right. I think I said earlier, I'll be surprised if, you know, something doesn't pop up that brings me away. I ran out of welding gas. I had to go get welding gas, and by the time I got done running errands, it's like a couple hours. So yeah, I got back, got everything finished, got everything cleaned up. One of the things I did too was I capped these real quick. That way water won't get inside. It's not a big deal because it goes straight through, but I think it looks nice. So I just capped those real quick, got everything put away, and yeah. So I'll pick this up tomorrow, and you'll get to see me painting. Everybody will be so excited. I know I'm excited. What about you guys? You guys want to help paint?
Yeah, I want to help.
Okay, well, if there's people helping, that's not too bad. But I hate painting. Alright, I am back. It is tomorrow. There was a few little knick-knacky things I had to do, like go around and knock off some sharp edges and stuff like that. I've gone over and just checked everything. It is ready for paint. Pulled out my paint, and it was so cold that I had to stick it in front of a space heater to warm it up for about half an hour because it looked like tar. It was so thick. It's a little bit cold to be painting. Paint when the temperature is above 50 Fahrenheit. Not happening. It's alright, it'll just dry slowly. I think what I'll do is, because there is more work I have to do to it, I'm just gonna paint the whole thing while it's here, get it to where it's not gonna rust, and when I need to weld something on it, I'll just take a wire wheel with me when we're out at Jess and Maya's, and I'll just buff off the paint where I need to weld. It's a lot easier than having to paint to a certain spot and hope you don't get paint. Nah, forget it. We'll just paint the whole thing. All right, I'm gonna get painting. I think this is a good place to end it. I'll just set the camera up as a time lapse and you guys can watch the painting go. Nobody really cares about painting. In whatever video comes, you guys will get to see the end product. They're gonna look a lot nicer painted. Here's the final time lapse of me painting, and I will catch you guys on the next one.